Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Living with autism can be difficult, and helping children live with it can be overwhelming for parents. Education can play a key role. This week on Learning World, we explore projects in China and Canada and talk to Theo Peters. In China, millions of children have autism spectrum disorders. But because the condition is not widely recognized there, many of them don't get any help. But one organization is working to raise parental awareness about their children's behavior.
This school in Beijing is a bit different from the others. Here, the mums don't leave their children at the school gates. They go to lessons with them. The Stars and Rain Centre is the first NGO in China helping children with autism, a condition which literally translated is called the loneliness disease in China. And it's only been officially recognised there since 2006.
We try to establish appropriate behaviour in social settings. First we teach parents what autism is, and then we help them cope with it. The classes include individual tuition.
They offer an 11-week parent training programme, taking one subject a week. They use the applied behaviour analysis technique to teach children aged 3 to 6 years. The school is always full, and there's a waiting list of families from all over China. So far, the school has helped more than 6,000 autistic children and their families. But it is estimated that there are more than 4 million autistic people in China, and for the most part, there's very little understanding of it, how it's diagnosed, and why people with autism need special education. There are only 20 doctors in the whole country who are qualified to diagnose autism. That's why most parents in this school didn't want to show their faces. They felt ashamed.
I felt like heaven and earth had collapsed at first. My whole family suffered for about 6 months once we learned the truth. We were really depressed, helpless and perplexed. Later we took him to a training organisation. At first my son couldn't speak, but after 8 months of training he began to imitate. He could say simple words like mum and dad, so he took hope. And we're not sad anymore. Little by little, he's making progress.
The school stimulates children's brains by teaching music and sounds and communication skills, and they teach gym to all the family.
Understanding autism can be difficult. Is it a disease, disorder, or simply a difference? Theo Peters is a neurolinguist and an expert on autism spectrum disorder. He favors the idea of accepting that autistic people are different kinds of normal people rather than people who need in some way to be cured. Here's what he had to say.
Theo Peters is a neurolinguist who is fascinated by autism. We met him in Dijon, France, where he was speaking at one of the many events he organises around the world to spread his vision of autism.
So what is autism? Is it a condition, a disease, or a difference?
Autism is a condition that makes that people with autism have difficulties with communication, especially the social aspects. They are born with little or no social instinct, so they have many difficulties understanding our social culture, and they have imagination that is different. Because what we see in the whole world now is that the focus is most on behaviors. People with autism have strange behaviors, difficult behaviors, and in some of the approaches they try to get rid of the behaviors without really understanding what autism is inside. And autism is inside, it's this different thinking.
What exactly is autistic culture?
I do not think that we have to get rid of autism. I really think that we need to appreciate autism and the differences they have. There are so many persons with autism. If we in education would follow their motivation instead of obliging them to learn things that are of no interest, then it would make our society much richer.
So if they live in a world of their own, it could mean that we are the odd one out.
There is a person with autism who has written a book called Another Kind of Normal. Okay, that's something I like. There is an English father, Paul Collins, who has written a book about his son, and he calls this book Not Even Wrong. And with this title he wants to say, well, but if you understand the reasoning of my child, the way of his understanding the world, he is right, he is not even wrong, he is different. I think that we live now in a transition time where people, the neurotypical people like us, start understanding the autism culture better, and I think that gradually they'll become part of our culture.
Perhaps if Theo Peters' opinions were more mainstream, autistic people would meet with less incomprehension.
Technology can provide useful tools for engaging autistic children. In Canada, for example, one project uses electronic tablets to help children focus. It has helped parents understand their children's reaction better and has also helped children interact with each other. Let's find out more.
Here in Toronto, in Canada, this school caters for children with all kinds of difficulties, including autism.
Jake's a really bright kid, but sometimes it's hard to get that out of him, right? So I could, put an activity in front of him that he may be able to do, but if he's not engaged, if he's not interested or focused, then he's not going to be able to show me that he has that skill.
Children with autism often find it difficult to say what they have to say. They find it hard to express their needs. The introduction of electronic tablets in this classroom has been of great help.
20 cupcakes.
So instead of having to use a preferred item for Jake to come over and do work with me, the tablet itself is so engaging and so interesting to him that he'll come over and do work, and he'll do a lot of things that I didn't even know he could do.
Here, they believe that the tablets help children concentrate for longer, identify objects more accurately, and interact with others.
It appears that it has to do with the different kinds of sensory input that the device will offer. So you can have auditory input, so you can hear it. You can see what's happening visually, so you have visual input, but you also have the haptic feedback, which is around the touch and getting some kind of vibration or pulse that comes with it.
Both teachers and parents are always finding more ways to capitalize on the tablet.
I think the school's done a beautiful job of incorporating all three things. So he has that interpersonal contact with his teacher, and then they use the tablet just to enhance that and teach him in other ways.
For these children, using a tablet gives them a way to explore the world.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. Learning World is always interested in new ideas, so don't hesitate to contact us via our social media pages. You can suggest subjects for us to tackle and share your stories with us. That's it for now. Goodbye.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.